things too.
All right, cool. Ooh, we are live. We already got live viewers too. That's awesome. That was quick.
Look at this. What are they tuning in over here to see?
Right? People
see
ready for a little bit of Friday night action, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
Look at this here. Very nice, Thomas. Take it away.
Yes, sir. Welcome everybody to the live stream for Connecting and Collecting, or Collecting and Connecting. I keep mixing the two words.
As long as you do one or the other, it's fine. You can
right.
connect. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all
but yeah, welcome everybody to the stream. We've been here every other Friday, but we decided to do 2 weeks, in a row, back to back. Let's see what we got here. Obviously, I'm here with Paulie, who has graced us with this great opportunity. I've loved every moment of doing this. This is something to look forward to for me every Friday night. When you guys are watching this, make sure you guys subscribe to both, Collecting and Connecting and A Different Conversation. Both are easily, able to be found on YouTube. I see some early comments. We're going to get to those in a second. But Paulie, I wanted to say what's up, man, because we haven't been able to, have a talk like this, stream or anything like that, since the one episode we did.
I know it's been busy, but I'm not too many weeks away from our What Do You Collect episode that was posted out.
Yes.
It was such a fun episode getting you on there, and as I've followed your podcast, obviously we've been in talks before that, and I just love what you do, the fun environment, the awesome guests you put together. And then that was fun, talking to a whole bunch of collectors on a What Do You Collect episode. Emily from September Morning, the rock star there is big into the NFTs. We had Jalinda, a sneaker collector. We had Enrico collecting his Oreo cookies. I mean, it's just great.
I wanted to ask him, like, what did your significant other think? Because it has to be crazy, bringing someone into the fold and then they see you with this big Oreo collection of all things.
Yeah, really. I don't know, man. I don't know how. I mean, look, what I think as time goes on, though, what's pretty interesting. It's I feel like people are more accepting of the crazy collectible stuff that's out there, because just think about it, even when we were at least when I was a kid, I don't know, I'm going back to the 80s. Imagine telling your significant other, hey, I'm going in the garage and I'm gonna go with my friends to play some Pokemon, or I'm gonna go play some Magic the Gathering. I think back in the 80s they were I don't know, they wouldn't believe you. They would think you have someone stored in the garage, and you're are you cheating on me? What are you doing in that garage? Nowadays it's no, I'm just gonna go and we're gonna sit in the garage and we're gonna break out the folding table, some pretzels, and we're gonna have a good time.
Dude, I grew up. I mean, I wish, man. I wish in the 80s, and I mean, obviously, I was born in 1998, so I can't speak.
98. Oh, Thomas, what are you doing to me?
Hey, at least I'm not born in the 2000s. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, no, I know.
1998. So when I grew up, it was Silly Bands, and it was the Monster the tops to the Monster cans.
Yeah.
Those were big, and then obviously Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon that was already well established, but those were my things growing up: Silly Bands and the Monster tops to the cans.
Oh my God! So what'd you do? You collected them, or what'd you do? You played games with them? How did that work?
Well, so what people would do with the Monster, tops to the cans, is that they would make necklaces of them, which was really unhealthy if you really think about it. Teenagers just drinking as many Monsters as they can so they can make this necklace and be cool. It was actually crazy. Now though, I'm kind of ashamed thinking about it.
But when you pop off the tab, isn't there the aluminum little sharp on there? Aren't you cutting your chest?
No, that's literally what it is. It's that aluminum top.
Yeah,
you just pull it off, and that's it.
But it's it's gonna be scraping against you. All right, listen, I know it's a thing, man. I mean, it's just crazy to know every generation, I think, has those oddball things that they're yeah, this is what I collect hogs. I buy, I don't know if you know what the hell those are, but they were little round cardboard circles, and then there would be a slammer, and it would be like a heavy piece of metal. You know what this thing is? Or I'm talking like another language over here.
That's some prehistoric stuff there,
Oh
probably.
my god, dude, Pogs. All right, people in the chat, tell me if you know if you're chatting on YouTube or our X Live. Do you know what Pogs are? They were basically like, cardboard cutout circles, and you would buy like them individually. People would collect them because they would be obviously like pictures of your favorite sports players, celebrities, trolls. Like they branded everything on just this like cardboard circle, and this was like, I don't know, mid 90s and early 90s, mid 90s, and then you would have this big thick metal slammer. So then you would stack these things up, and then you would throw this metal thing down, and you would have to like strike these cardboard things. And it was like whoever had like knocked more of them out of the circle was like the winner. And then whatever came out of the circle, you get to like keep. And then you like basically stole this other kid's pile of these Pogs. It was, I don't know. It was just
Beyblade. That reminds me of Beyblades.
Listen, man, I don't know. It was something, but I'm telling you, like, depending on like your friends, it was like the only thing for like a good couple years.
Right.
And it was like all these knockoff versions of him, because then everyone jumped in the market. It was like you would just see them all over the place. But
there's only like 3 things I collect these days in mass majority. It would be baseball cards I still collect. You can't go wrong with the good old baseball card. Jerseys. I have about I think we're on 30. This is number 36.
Nice.
36 jerseys.
36 jerseys. Are you like Are you any jersey, or is it just like what exactly? I mean, this is like.
I mean, it's just like it's just a feeling you get. It's like a tattoo, but I don't have no tattoos, so I don't collect the tattoos. But not that I'm scared of the pain or anything. Don't start any rumors out there, anybody. But no, with the jerseys, it's just kind of a feeling you get. Like, I haven't bought one in a year because I haven't really been moved to buy one. But I have Julio Rodriguez, Steven Strasburg, Aaron Donald, Super Bowl jersey, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley. Just a bunch of players that I love.
Just this is basically just any players that you just are like, you don't. It's not like I only collect my favorite team. This is like you just like love a player, and you're like, all right.
It's a moment thing. Like, unfortunately, like I have a Knicks Kristaps Porzingis, I have a Knicks RJ Barrett, I have a Knicks Derrick Rose from the first run, not the good. Glorified second run of Derrick Rose in the Knicks, but the first one that stung. I went to a Mets game, and I hate the Mets, but I got a Francisco Lindor jersey for no reason at all. And
on the Mets, Lindor on the Mets.
Yeah, and I'm a Nationals fan. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of it's just the feel like when Aaron Donald in the Los Angeles Rams, they won their Super Bowl. I had to get that jersey. It's just a feeling that you get.
Yeah.
So.
No, I know, man. When you're watching sports, I mean, it's you get. I mean, you just feel for some teams, which even if it's not your own team, sometimes it's like I was rooting for the Thunder. Oklahoma City last time around. I was like, this team hasn't. I watched them back when you had Durant on the team and Westbrook, and I mean
that was such a beautiful time, man.
Yeah.
Well, when Kevin Durant was out there in OKC with Russ and James Harden and Serge Ibaka and all those guys, it was definitely fun.
Man.
There's a lot more people that know Pogs, so I'm gonna have to look at
this. Look at this. I just asked everybody. Look at this. I remember.
Bro, everyone's just like Pogs, man.
We're turning them on here. Look at this. Austin, you remember Pogs? Who else here? Who else we got? All right, you're watching the Raptors Magic tonight. We talking Pogs Kirk.
Kenny was here wicked. He was here like almost an hour early. Shout out to Kenny.
He's a devoted Kenny.
If we get the Giannis, we're giving him to the Nuggets.
Yeah. We're giving away a Giannis NBA Top Shot rare moment tonight in the Discord. Yes. We just fired off one Discord, a little Brook Lopez explosion there. Brook Lopez is on right now. Enter the Royal Rumble. It's starting in less than 5 minutes. Yeah, we'll be doing the Giannis rare moment tonight as well on this.
The Royal Rumble is tomorrow. Cool.
Yeah. Oh, the wrestling Royal Rumble. That's some big stuff. I know. Yeah, we've been we're doing a lot of ESPN. Been plugging a lot of that all week. Talking to Seth Rollins. I was in studio. Was this yesterday or today? The days are meshing together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was there a couple days. I mean, I think he did a bunch of interviews with all the other shows, and then he did like one show specifically yesterday.
Yeah, they're making their rounds, and definitely.
It's so crazy seeing WWE on ESPN, because when I grew up and when I like absolutely loved WWE, that's something that you didn't really want to like say out loud with the wrong crowd. Now it's on ESPN, and you know, universally just accepted.
I know, man. Look, it's got, you know what though? It's like, it's one of those, it's the popularity of it that it's like you can't avoid it anymore, because it's like, I think this has been one of the most popular, even just the Monday Night Raws have been like one of the most popular network television, like ratings wise, on Monday nights since for like year after year. It's almost like decades worth.
Before I was born.
I know, it's crazy. Like, it's been going on like for every Monday night. It has more ratings than most Monday night football games. I mean, it's it's like, this is, they're athletic, and they're getting these kind of ratings, and they're selling out stadiums, and I have a couple.
I mean, the experience, I'll say, like when you ever went in person?
I have never gone in person, actually. Nope. I've
been like, I started going in like 2006, when my mom would call into the radio and get like free tickets if you were like the right caller. She won those a lot, by the way. Like, she needed to be investigated for how much she won those. But it seems like every time wrestling came around my city, like she won one of those. But yeah, no, the experience is awesome, because like, the fireworks, all the stuff that happens in between that you don't see on TV. It's really an experience, especially if you're kind of up close, and you can kind of, because it's different. Like, if you go, on TV, it's all set up to be what it is on TV. And I'm sure, you working at ESPN, you kind of understand that, like, what it is on TV is what it's set up to be. But then, like, in the background and everything, like when you go and there's no guys talking through the TV, you're just there watching the wrestling. You get to see the setup. You get to see, all that stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure it's the event. I know, like, some friends that actually have worked, with the WWE, and it's just like the production value is crazy. Like, they're telling me about, they have like custom trucks that go from town to town.
Yes.
They have just like the crew that I think a lot of those guys are fixed with the truck, because they just will travel. They'll hire obviously freelancers and things like that to work those events, but it's so sophisticated, and it's like such a well-oiled like machine that that whole the whole department just kind of travels from one event, and then they pull into town on like, I think like was it like a Sunday night? A lot of them have to get down there to set up for the Monday, and then they even been running stuff on Tuesday, since it's like the Mondays sell out. It's like, it's crazy, because it's like, then when they have these events, they'll have the event selling out on Saturday. They'll have stuff going on Sunday, like they have like the Sunday stuff. Then they'll have the Monday Night Raw from the same town. So it's like all these days in a row of just like packed sellout crowds. Like, I've been in New Orleans once when they had WrestleMania, and the town, like, I met up with my buddy. I didn't go to the event, but like afterwards, it's just like all the people pouring out onto Bourbon Street, after the WrestleMania. Just like the whole town was full of, wrestling fans. It's just
during John Cena's retirement tour here, me and the lady, we were fortunate enough to go to two of those events of the whole thing. We went to one in New Jersey, and then we went to Madison Square Garden. That was the one. That was like one of my first times going to Madison Square Garden, and it's sad because I'm a Knicks fan. I haven't gone out there much, but yeah, Madison Square Garden is such a beautiful arena for anyone that's never been there. It's absolutely unreal. And then, like you said, after the scene afterwards was absolutely insane, because you got all the food trucks outside. You got everyone just walking around, everyone just like pumped from the event. It's cool. I've been to two Royal Rumbles, including last year's. That's impressive. I've never been to a Royal Rumble.
Okay.
But yeah, that's actually pretty cool, Austin. That's what's up.
That's awesome. I mean, it's the Royal Rumble stuff. I know is pretty big. I mean, I think that with the big events, you got SummerSlam, you have WrestleMania. Then there's the I don't know. There's so many other ones like Hell in a Cell. There's I don't know. There's so many of like these big events that happen, but those are obviously
money, man. It's money.
Money in the Bank. I think that's another one. Speaking of, I know.
Literally,
it really is. Look at that.
Yes. Make sure if you guys are enjoying this so far. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to Collectin and Connectin. We're gonna keep the good word out there about just. I love the theme of this. We talk about collecting, and then we connect. It's a nice big community. We run giveaways on Discord all the time. And then if you like little old me, I'm on YouTube as well at a different conversation. So make sure you check me out. Let's look into a little bit what's going on with the NBA. Unless you had anything else you wanted to plug
let's
before
take
we
a look
dive in.
at some of the games tonight. I see. I posted a little comment from Sweetheart Pro Wrestling. He has some fun stuff. He has some simulated wrestling videos that he puts together.
So I'm about to check it out.
Yeah, check it out. It's definitely some fun stuff he puts on. So you could he's a big wrestling fan. Obviously, he's like we said, WrestleMania is insane. It's like Disneyland, but for wrestling.
I've heard. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's crazy because they've priced WrestleMania out of many people even thinking about going. Because I'm not going to go to an event just to sit in the nosebleeds, and you can't do that at WrestleMania because they make these WrestleMania arenas hold so many people that your nosebleed seat, you might as well just stayed at home and watched it. You know what I mean? Because you're so far away, I don't see the point in spending $400 just to sit all the way back there. Yeah. But you get closer and it gets extremely expensive. So maybe one day. But
I had a friend that took their little brother along. It was like, well, there goes going to Disney World.
There goes his college. There goes his college.
Thousands of dollars for the wrestling event. I think we got a buddy. I might want to enter this stream.
Yes, sir. Let's add him to the stage. Ken, my guy, what is up?
Hey, peace, guys. How we doing?
How are you?
Good, man. We haven't talked about too much without you. We've just been talking about whatever guys are dropping in the comments and about collecting. So before we get to the NBA scores, I wanted to give you a chance, Ken. Me and Paulie, we talked about what we grew up collecting, what was big. He said Pogs, which I didn't know about Pogs. Maybe you know about Pogs. Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, I had to throw in that old joke. Kem knows I always got thrown in over again.
I got one for you.
Yeah, and then I talked about because me growing up, we had the weird collections. Obviously, there was Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. That stuff was already established. But we had silly bands, and we had the tops of the monster cans. That was the big thing when I was growing up. So what was big when you were growing up collection-wise?
So listen, man, we had a few things that were like really, really important at the time. So I see some of the comments about WrestleMania. So listen, I'm from the time of the old WrestleMania of rubber figures where you could kind of like twist their arms into the motions that you wanted them to be in, right?
Yes.
So listen, we collected those along with like G.I. Joes, right? So at the end of the day, these were like our trading things and stuff like that, okay, before like the cards and things like that got pretty famous for like a lot of people, right? We were collecting, but here's another thing that I'll give you guys that was really, really important to us. RC racer cars, okay? Like the remote control. Cool. Oh my God, listen, dude, we would go to and scour different shops for different type of cars, you know what I mean? And then we kind of stepped it up into the gas. But before that, I would say it was like the RC cars, G.I. Joes, and the WWF wrestling characters, man. Those were like the top three for us. Yeah, without a question.
Yeah, man. The G.I. Joes, you like unlocked a memory. I remember like I was so young and for some reason you just brought this memory right back to my head. It had to be when I was like 5, 6, 7, one of those years. And I remember getting G.I. Joes for Christmas and being so excited about it. It was a quick run. I remember that quickly went to WWE action figures. Actually, that's another thing. I'm glad you brought it up. The stretchy ones, that was before my time. Even though they made a re-release, though. They made a re-release, and it's one of my son's favorite toys. I got him the John Cena one, the stretched, the ones that stretch and stuff. He's absolutely obsessed with it still. But for me, it was, wrestling action figures. I'm glad you brought that up. That was actually really, really big. I had like hundreds. I had like 100, 200 of those.
I'm telling you.
I had the ring. I had like my own little events. Like My parents didn't need to worry about nothing
at all. Snow days.
I had a couple of them myself, and then not for nothing though, but like having those things around other children, they were like little weapons. Because I remember like even I had the Honky Tonk Man one. This thing weighed that it was made of old rubber, so it was just like you could like bounce this thing off the wall because it was just like a load of like plastic and rubber, but it was so heavy. It was like a good like pound or so. I'm like, you throw this at. There was always that one kid that would start chucking the toys middle way through, and I was like, listen, bro, you almost took my head out with one of those things. It's like that, Stretch Armstrong thing. You pull it too much, and you got jelly all over the living room.
Yes, sir.
Yes, oh, God. The worst thing though about collecting some of these toys though was like the accessories. I don't know if you remember. Like,
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I've had so my son, he's only 2, but I'm trying to get him into the stuff I was into. So I've been buying him the wrestlers, but they come with so much accessories. I have to just give him the toy, keep the accessories, and hopefully maybe one day he'll care about them. But yeah, no, there's so little choking hazards. Like there's just so much. Like I got like a John Cena action figure for him, and it had like 4 different hands. It had like 2 different hats. It had a shirt you could put on them. Like, what the hell? Where was this when I was younger?
They keep putting all these little pieces in there. I'm like, guys, don't you know kids around? And nobody like saves them all, and they always like tick me off because every like kid wants to borrow your toy. And I'm like, listen, you better bring it back with the sword. I don't want to come back here and He-Man has no shield and no sword. What the hell could it be?
Exactly right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's dig in. That was an awesome conversation. We hope you guys are enjoying. Let's dig into some NBA basketball talk with some live scores here. I'm gonna share my screen. Almost forgot how to do it. You'd have thought I was the unk here, not these 2 next to me. All right, so we got the Lakers absolutely putting a beat down on the Washington Wizards. Luka with 37, 11, and 13.
Wow.
Dang. Cam, your team is crushing these guys.
Yeah, coming off of that Cleveland, debacle, I think that it was nice to get some kind of get back. You know what I mean? This little run that they're on, we'll see, man. We got till February 5th to see if they do some trading or anything like that. But I can't get mad at it.
What would you like the Lakers to do personally as a Lakers fan? Because it's like you guys are kind of limited because you got Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves all making a lot of money. But you do need to improve the team. I think everyone can agree the Lakers do need to make that something that'll push them over, the line to truly being a championship contender. What do you think that move is for the Lakers?
Well, what I'd say right now, I think that it's probably Austin Reeves being kind of dealt away right now to kind of get those. Him, LeBron, and Luka are pretty much the same player in different bodies that, you know what I mean? But at any given time on the court, they could all do the same things, right? So I think that is probably getting Austin out of there and getting some type of wing back. I hate to say it.
Oh, wow. You want to trade Austin Reeves? Okay, Ken.
Not that I really want to. I just think that's probably.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
start this off with an explosion from Kev. All right, go ahead. Explain the logic. I want to hear this.
Well, only because I think that at the end of the day, with what they need is more running mates. Like I think that Jackson Hayes is kind of coming into his own a little bit more where you can kind of rely on him a little bit more defensively if we have another wing out there that can kind of cover up some of those gambles he takes. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the end of the day,
he does have 10 and 13 minutes right now. I like the Jackson Hayes.
Yes, absolutely, man. Just something to kind of give us a little bit more length, you know what I mean, out there and not being able to get past these guys as fast as they do, especially with Luka. Like everything that he's doing offensively, I love, but we just need a little bit of help for him defensively. LeBron is old as me, bro.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you get out there. When you need to I want to take you out there. Come on.
Come on, man.
Unfortunately, they Dalton Connect. I don't know. It's what do you think of him from going from last year, rookie year, to this year? And I don't know. I'm not seeing. Obviously, he's that guy for them, but it's
Paulie. I love that question, man. I love that question because at the end of the day, I think that we could get a little bit more out of him. I don't know if he fits into what coach is trying to run there. You know what I mean? But I think something else with him. Defensively, he's more of a liability because he's not in the offense as much to where as though we can't hide him, But I think that if he was given a little bit more run, man, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? But I don't know what JJ doesn't see that. You know what I mean? I don't see. But every time he's running with these other squads, he's playing ball. So it just has to be something that doesn't fit with what JJ sees for him. For me.
Yeah, because you would think like I don't know. I feel like he's got a similar. I mean, I'm not gonna say exact game to JJ, but a similar game to him, like as JJ did. So you would think like he knows, he would know where.
All right, Paulie, I see
where he would fit in. I would say, but I'm like, obviously, if he ain't trusting him out there or putting him at, with the right squad, it's I don't know. It's something that he obviously sees. I don't think he's he's a smart dude. JJ Redick, I actually spent some time with him. He would come on set and talk with him a little bit. He was living in Brooklyn at the time. He really knows his stuff. So I think it's like he's very aware. It's like a lot of times it's like you might think like a coach is like we're sitting at home coaching, so it's kind of like, hey, why don't you put this guy in? But sometimes there's another 100 factors to it, where it's like, I'm sure like I don't know what they are when I'm sitting there watching Mitchell Robinson getting hacked in the fourth quarter, and I'm going, just get him out already, what I mean? But listen, it's tough to juggle all these guys, and it's like if you got a starting five, and then you gotta get crafty, so. That's where the coaching comes in, and sometimes it's today's day and age you got statistics and analytics and books of numbers, and it's just it'll drive you crazy sometimes when you're there. You just want to see some of those coaches from going from the gut. I feel like sometimes I'd rather that. Just give me that. I don't mind. I know the guys in the front office might mind, but I just want to see somebody be like, hey, this guy's got the hot hand. He's playing good, the last couple nights. Just leave him out there for an extra 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, like, for me, when it comes to this, I think it boils down to I think when they traded him and then it didn't, and then the trade obviously got canceled. I think that's what did it, because he didn't react like. And I get it, like when you get traded and then you think you're gone and you're going to the Charlotte Hornets of all places, but then you're not going to the Charlotte Hornets and now you're back to the Lakers and it's awkward and stuff. I get it, but like when you're a young player like him, you got to just kind of like you got to take stuff like that and just keep moving. And I think when he was kind of miserable about it, and all the reports that came out about how he handled, himself and stuff after that trade, non-trade, I think that's kind of what burned the relationship. And he hasn't really been able to find, I don't want to say the spark, because as Kem said, he has looked, at least, somewhat capable when he is on the floor. I just don't think he's been able to really find his way back in after all that. And for him to just demand a trade, I thought that was funny too. But
listen, it's like if your girl starts texting the number back, then now we got something here. All of a sudden, some guy's texting your girl, and now all of a sudden she's responding. Wait a minute, what are you doing over there? And that's it. And I was like, no, I was doing nothing. I'm doing nothing. I'm just gonna now come on. We want you on the team. We want you here. You sure you want me here? That's
right. And I mean, he probably he stormed into the office, demanded a trade, and they're probably like, no, all right, man. Cool, dude.
Yeah, it's a wild thing, man. He worked, though. I got to go back to what Paulie said, though. I think it has to be something with what JJ says, and in all of the data and everything like that he just doesn't fit with what they're doing. You know what I mean? But I do believe, man, given the chance, we already know he's going to ball out. He's going to ball out.
I think if he ends, that's why I love the trade going to Charlotte, because I felt like he could have really, thrived there, because he's talented. We all know that. But I don't know what JJ Redick sees in like someone like Gabe Vincent that he doesn't see in others, but that's a conversation for a different day, because like Gabe Vincent has just not worked, and he just keeps playing him and playing him and playing him. So I mean, maybe something's going on in practice where Gabe Vincent's the best player on the practice squad, and then he comes to the court and poops himself. I don't know.
Plus the money, man. You know what I mean? The money that came with Gabe Vincent from Miami. You know what I mean? He has to get a little burn before. And the crazy thing is, it's no draft capital. No trade capital. You know what I mean? With him, he's not running up any numbers. It's everything of what you're saying, man. Get him out of there.
All right, so we got the Celtics. They're beating the Kings. Not much to really look at there. Peyton Pritchard got 8 assists though. That's cool. The Knicks, and this is the big thing I wanted to talk about, especially with Paulie still here. So the Knicks are beating the Trailblazers by 15, which is cool.
That's because they want to work out a 3-way trade with them. So, they're trying to use
it.
Listen,
yeah.
Cat is having literally the same game that he did last game, where he has all these rebounds and just terrible on the offensive side of the ball. Paulie, how do you feel about the whole Karl Anthony Towns thing? Because we got a report today that Karl Anthony Towns has been discouraged and has his feelings hurt that he's in trade rumors, which he's only in a trade rumor for Giannis. There hasn't been anything other than that. I would hope, as an NBA player making $60 million, you would understand that. But how do you guys feel about this whole Cat thing with the Knicks?
Yeah, it's tough. I think it's a tough position. It's like, obviously we all know Karl Anthony Towns is in the NBA, and he's a well-known name because he has talent. There are some games out there he's shooting, 3-pointers and he's getting rebounds and he's making, plays in the paint. I mean, when you look at a player that could kind of score from anywhere, I mean, I think a lot of people, would give up a lot to get a player like that. So I think he's, I think as a New York fan, you're lucky to have him on your team. Now it comes down to a whole nother thing. I think when it comes to, kind of gelling with players and kind of what's going on exactly with the chemistry of the Knicks is the bigger question, I think, in order to figure out what's the deal with Karl Anthony Towns. Because I look at it also this way. You had Tibbs there, who took you to the playoffs 2 years ago, who took you to the round right before the championship last year, and then you let him go. So it's kind of like, well, is this the players? Is this the coaching? What's going on here? Then you hear rumors of like Mikal Bridges saying, I guess, like how there was some scuffle that came out last season of how him and Tibbs weren't getting along because I guess he was, just playing too much and spending too much time on the court. And I don't know. It's a little all over the place that I can't even like fully say what the issue is, because I feel like it's okay. Are we getting hurt because we're playing too much out there? But guess what? We're still having injuries. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know necessarily, like, if you're playing too much out there, why did some guys that play with Tibbs still come to the Knicks when he was coaching? If I was Derrick Rose and I was Josh Hart and I played for a guy that tortured me, I wouldn't say, wait, let me go back to this guy. I mean, he players that, played with him before came, to play again. Like, it's a style that he had that obviously produced results. So is it the chemistry of the players? Is it the coaching that's not, like, if you got raw talent, but they have to, like, that chemistry has to work together. That's what makes championship teams, because obviously we all know what happened with, the big three at the Brooklyn Nets. You can't just put three big players on the court and expect it to be a championship, because there's a lot of other things that just sometimes don't work out. And I don't know if that's what it's coming to with Cat. I don't know if it's just like with these players and their overall perception of how they want to play the game is something that he's just the kid in the in the schoolyard looking in from the outside, going like, listen, I don't know, you guys want to play that way, but I don't. Like, I want to play this way. I think if that's the case, then you're going to have to move them, because what are you going to do if somebody doesn't want to gel with the other four, kids in the yard? I mean, it's that's what's, if it's going in that direction, then I feel like you got to get something for a guy that will fit in a better, in a better situation.
Hey, man, listen, man, that's a lot to unpack right there, Paulie, but I think you was right on point. Listen, I'm going to be honest. You were right on point in every way, right? I'm going to attack the one thing that you said there that I think plays a role in a lot of this as well, right? Hey, we got 4 years of, well, let's say 3 years of these guys playing together that we know that we've seen them achieve a higher potential than what the product is on the court that we see right now. What we don't know is, like what Paulie was saying, is it has anything to do with coaching or the actual style of play, which kind of is the same thing, right? What the coach may introduce, but we don't know. But what we are able to see is what we saw last year and the year before that, and the culmination of all of this before getting rid of Tibbs, actual Mikal Bridges coming out and having something to say about how much they're playing and everything. And then we have this big old drop off right now, right? Where we can't figure out whether they're good or whether they're bad, right? We have the East going again. The core players of what we have minus Cat, or what they have minus Cat. Hey, we in New York, you hear me throwing the we around, right? You know, I'm a Laker guy, right? But with the Cat, I think that at the end of the day, man, you said it perfectly. With the way what we know about how they can play together and how they're not playing together, he may just be better suited to play with another squad and probably interchange that piece, right? Because we already know the heart and soul. Even if Mikal Bridges has something to say about how he was running, we know that he's an Iron Man. He still does not miss games regardless of that, right? So at the end of the day, I think that that might just be it. It may just be the inner workings that may be the piece that needs to be moved out and something else needs to be moved in. Now, of course, we've been talking a lot about Giannis, you know, being that piece and maybe being that piece from last summer. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's going to be, I don't know what you get that is going to be as good as Cat on his best days as well if you don't get Giannis.
Yeah.
That's the only thing about it.
Oh, man. You guys got 5 minutes? I'm about to go off. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the Knicks, you know, Paulie brings up good points with Cat. Briggs good points with Tibbs. I'll say this. There's players that you know are championship worthy, and then there's players that are not. And the same thing can be said for coaches. There's coaches that are championship worthy, and there's coaches that are not. When it comes to that coach, it was Tibbs, man. And when it comes to that player, it was Julius Randle. Now, when it comes to Cat, I'm not saying he's not championship worthy. It's just when they brought him in, it felt like they didn't have a plan for his weak spots, if that makes sense. Because what I see Karl Anthony Towns, who isn't a center anymore. He doesn't do it for me. And I mean, Paulie, you said he makes some plays here and there in the paint, but it's not consistent enough to be that number 5. And normally people are running 5s that can do it all on the court. And it's getting to a point where he's turning into a sorry defender. He's turning into a guy that you can't rely on in the clutch. But most importantly, my biggest concern is that what makes him unique, what makes him separated from the pack, is his shooting, and his shooting has been god-awful this year for whatever reason. Yeah. I would love the Giannis acquisition because what I look at with the Knicks is what they need to do is they need to be able to unlock Bridges. He has been the biggest piece to this New York Knicks puzzle, and Thibs and Mike Brown have not been able to unlock his abilities, and I think a lot of that has to do with Cat being there, because when you have Cat there, him and Jalen Brunson, it's kind of just the ball goes to them and we figure it out, rather than, you know, Bridges is a 3-level scorer himself. He can do it. He's shown that he can do it in the past. He's been an important piece to a championship, almost championship team. So I think that's the biggest thing. And when it comes to Cat, man, I'm just so down on Cat because it's like you said, Paulie, we see what he can do. You know, sometimes we see, you know, we see these great plays. We see him shoot from anywhere on the court. And then we get nights like tonight and these last few games where he can't shoot anything. He's just there collecting boards. And at $60 million a year, we can get like 3 guys that can collect boards. We can get 6 guys that can collect boards. You know what I'm saying? When you're paid that much money, and that's why we get these situations like, you know, the Ja Morant and the Anthony Davis and all this where, you know, it's really hard to trade those pieces. The Knicks kind of put themselves in a corner here where it has to work with Cat. Because if you can't get a deal done for Giannis, it's like Kem said, can't do better than Cat, unfortunately. And who's gonna take him if he keeps tanking his value? We're stuck with Cat. If we don't get Giannis, we are stuck with Karl Anthony Towns. So we'll see. I hope it works.
Yeah, to your actual like grabbing boards and stuff like that, point, I think that actually also opens up the offense a little bit more, right? Like you get a little bit more shots for McBride, you get a little bit more shots for Clarkson when he's playing. You know what I mean? Like things like that.
He fell out the rotation.
Yeah, exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Which shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? But I think that at the end of the day, you get a little bit more space and things like that. But what you can get if Karl Anthony Towns is actually playing at a top tier, you know what I mean, is why those DNPs and things are there. You understand? Because he creates so much of a mismatch problem when he's on his thing. But I think that is something about his, you know, I don't know. We don't know.
Well, what do you guys think ultimately? I want one move.
Yeah.
What is the one move that you guys think the Knicks have to make here? Do they stand pat? Do they try to, like, you know, work this out? Do they have to make a trade? What do you guys think is the number one thing they have to get done for you to believe that they're a championship contender?
I would love to get a big on the team. I've been saying this for quite some time. I've been saying I wish they went after a couple years back was Daniel Gafford. You know, a guy I think that can grab some rebounds. He can make some, you know, easy shots up there when you feeding him the ball, you know, close to the net. Because unfortunately, when you got Mitch Robinson getting the yips sometimes on a layup, it scares me. And I'm like, unless it's got to be picture perfect for Mitch to just dunk it in, he sometimes when he has to hesitate, that's it. The play's lost. I just want a confident big guy down there who just can get those easy buckets. Because when it's playoff time, and you just want to like jam the ball in there to either get fouled or get 2 points, you're going to need someone like that, because poor Brunson down there, when he faced, like, you know, some of these teams with, you know, what, like the Wolves were a couple, you know, when they had Cat, you know, you're looking up and you got these three big dudes standing over you. I mean, he's got to pass it out to somebody. And who's he throwing it out to? Bridges, another guy that's got to shoot from far away. OG. I mean, they're good shooters. Hot. They come through with some clutch shots. But it's like, I missed the Knicks having Isaiah Hartenstein. When he left, to me,
that was a big loss.
He was huge for that defense.
Yep.
It was that defensive spark plug. But then when he would try to, like, we needed those 2 points in the fourth quarter. All right, Hartenstein got maybe 4 to 6 points in the fourth quarter, but they were like crucial times, because it was like when the game could just sway in your direction. He'd dip it in. He'd hustle, get the ball, pass it back out for another offensive rebound. I want a guy like that on the team, with or without Cat. They need that.
Okay, so a scrappy center. So you're looking for a scrap guy. You need a guy, all those intangibles, because that is what Hartenstein brings. Like, you know what I mean? Now, just to kind of just go off of that point. But hey, man, I think that they need something like that too, man. That's so fun, because we're in a Karl Anthony.
Now we're all in agreement.
Yeah, we're all in agreement. Like, it's nothing to really pull here, man. They need something else. He summed it up perfectly. You cannot rely on Mitch. You can rely on Rich for boards, but we can't rely on Mitch for any points. You can rely on offensive points. I mean, offensive boards, defense, no question. He's going to get that done. But it's, again, you put it together nice. The yips around the basket is something that you need something else back there to shore up something. And, again, create some shots, man. I think there needs to be a little bit more, you know what I mean, some more shots out there, man.
And I would appreciate Mitch if, like, because the real issue with Mitch is if you put him in for too long, he's going to rack up fouls or he's going to get hurt. So it's like he's capped at this, like, 10 to 20 minutes a game, and it doesn't do enough. And Paulie points out, you know, Hartenstein's ability to score. I like Hartenstein's ability to eat up minutes. That was the huge thing, you know, back when the Knicks were making their runs, is his ability to just go out there and play 40 minutes, even if it was just to score 2 points and grab 16 rebounds. Just his ability to be out there, not be in foul trouble, be a presence, be a force. That's what the Knicks need. And I think a second thing, and the guy that I like for that would be Nick Claxton on the Nets. Even though I don't think they would trade him to the Knicks without an overpayment that the Knicks cannot afford. But I would love a guy like that, and I would love a guy like Malik Monk off the bench. The Knicks need some really quick shooting off the bench, which is supposed to be Clarkson, but it's just not working out. And my thing is, like Mike Brown is so adamant at keeping Karl Anthony Towns at center and not, like, you know, trying different things, but like he's so quick to just pull the plug on Jordan Clarkson, because that's done. Like he's DNP now for like 10 out of the last 11 games or whatever it is. I don't see that coming back. I can't imagine Jordan Clarkson's really happy to be there either, because he got game left. We know that.
Yes.
But yeah.
It's true, man. Listen, I don't know. I think, I don't know, the way it's going for the Knicks. I wish the Nets could use one of those carryover 5 first-round draft picks that the Knicks traded for Bridges.
Right.
I mean, that right there just handcuffed them for for trading purposes, because you even got in the Giannis sweepstakes. I know Golden State's looking like maybe a great choice.
I think it's Miami, man. They got so much assets, dude.
I even saw Chicago has some decent picks for the next couple of years that could throw a wrench into things.
Man.
I don't know. I think they're looking for picks more than, hey, you want this guy we can't fit in, or do you, what are they going to, I don't know what the Knicks have to really offer, except for maybe a suite in MSG to go see some concerts over the night.
Absolutely. It's a 3-team situation with the Knicks for sure.
Can I refrain? First row? Come on.
And you get Karl Anthony Towns. Come on.
Come on. We got
so Paulie, while you're here, I wanted to get, and I think we all can chip in on this, but you're the collecting guy. You're the one that started this whole, collecting and connecting journey. I want to hear from you. What are the top 5 things to collect right now? What are the hottest top 5, your top 5 of things to collect?
You know what? I'd say, since we're starting out talking NBA, I'm going to say a couple items. I would say big players right now that I think this is an awesome rookie class, which has a lot of hype. And you have Cooper Flag, and you got Knipple over here. Look at these two the other night. I mean, you got to be collecting these two guys. I mean, as far as like top 5, those two dudes are on my list. You got some other nice rookies in this class. As for a nice rookie class that came out with a lot of hype, like it just happened to come out at the time that Topps has NBA licensing this season, and Cooper Flag has also teamed up with NBA Top Shot as he sponsored their first drop. So it's like you have these rookies tied in with official licensing and collectibles. So it's like you can get a physical card or a digital video highlight of these players in their first rookie year, and it has their like NBA team name on it. It's not rubbed out and it's not blank. It says the team that they're playing on. It's officially licensed with the Players League, with the NBA League. Those two I think are standouts. And then you always got to lean towards your possible retirement collectibles, which are gonna go up in price once you got LeBron, who knows when, and Steph Curry come into the they're in the end of their arc. It's getting, you don't know when it is, but once that retirement does happen, you're gonna see a boost for sure in those collectibles. I mean, as far as those 4 are NBA right there. Let me give you another. I'll give you another sport. I like we got NFL going on this season. I mean, we got a couple. I'm a big Jackson Dart collector. If you're in New York, I'd say go with Jackson Dart. You got Jim Harbaugh coming in.
Kid, man.
You got Cam Scatterbo, who's a good running back, just for the flashes that they saw of those two together. If next season with good coaching, Jackson Dart could be one of those rookies that his prices are here right now and could be up there, by mid next season if all aligns correctly. But those are my 5 for right now. But I don't know. It's kind of just what I've been seeing and the trends that are going on out there.
That's good. That is definitely some good insight. The one and only Kirk, man, I think you got to refresh your NBA stream because that game is over now.
What is he looking at? What is Kirk watching? He's a Bulls fan. He's a Chicago guy. Are they playing tonight? No, right? They're not.
He said he's going to make it a 50-ball too. The game is over, man. They destroyed those dudes.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely. And Con, that was a good shout out. Like him, man, dude, like he has IQ and it's like they dropped a 10-year veteran in the league on the Charlotte Hornets. Like it's crazy. Like that the composure, everything that guy possesses has lit a fire under Charlotte, and they are coming. It's weird, but they are on a roll. I want to see them trade LaMelo and Bridges to get a lot of pieces to surround this team because they got the depth. They got a lot of players there. I just think if they really want to take this seriously, they could probably turn LaMelo into a few guys, Bridges into, a few guys. Not even a rebuild. I don't want to see a rebuild. Just get 2 depth pieces, maybe a pick here and there. Keep your picks. I like it. I like.
Yeah, I love it. I think they're like plus 1.5 even in their losses, like just in total, team scoring. Like they are phenomenal. I love it. The emergence of Brandon Miller, Khan just making all the right decisions. It's just good basketball to watch when it's hitting. So you already know that as they grow, it is going to be crazy down in Charlotte. It's something that I think that they've been waiting for. I think that you see a lot of flashes of, still LaMelo taking crazy shots, but overall, that's just a part of his game. You know what I mean? That's just a part of his game. But that's a pull right there, man. That's
I'll say this though. I mean,
the other night, him and
when it comes to LaMelo, man, I think the one thing that I really, really like about LaMelo this year, and this is going to be weird because I don't give LaMelo a lot of props. I don't like his game. But I'm trying to look I don't know why I have to. There's no search bar on NBA.com. I gotta try to find this manually. Hold on. What?
Yeah, I guess not.
That's LaMelo Ball.
Maybe go to ESPN. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think too about like now? Like you said, like all right, who's going into tank mode for next season? I mean, if Giannis is on the move. Mm-hmm. You guys thinking the Bucks are gonna go? Who's shooting for the bottom? Who's shooting for fastest to the bottom of the list here this season? Because that I think will tell us who's looking to move some players, before the trade deadline. Like, what are you guys seeing besides, I guess, the Bucks at this point?
I feel like the Pelicans gotta. I mean, like they're sitting on too much talent to be this bad. So I think like. When it comes to the Pelicans, I feel like and I don't think it'll happen now. I think any trade for Zion would happen in the offseason. But I feel like they got to unload Poole, unload Zion, unload Murphy, unload Herb. That's a team that I think like if they make moves the right way, they'll be back on top like they were this recent cycle. That just it was just some bad luck with injuries and everything as to why they kind of crashed and burned. It would have been nice to see Ingram, CJ, and Zion healthy in the playoffs, but it just never came to be. But I think my answer to that would be the Pelicans because, I mean, like what we're seeing right now in the NBA, the Kings and the Jazz, they're already there at the bottom. Wizards, Nets, those teams are already where they should be. And then we know John Morant's going to leave Memphis someday, and we know Anthony Davis and Kyrie, they're probably stuck in Dallas right now. Mm-hmm. I would go with the Pelicans.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I think it's either the Pelicans or who we already know it is with Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Depending on what they're doing. Because, hey, man, we got until the 5th, I guess, here, until the next week to see what happens with Giannis. I think that everybody's up in arms about it. I think that he wants to continue to play this season, right? I think that calf, even though we know that this is something that has continue to happen. I don't know. Paulie, just as off question, right? Knowing that you've been around the sport and things like that for a while, what do you say about some of these soft tissue injuries and stuff like that we're seeing a lot with some of the NBA players like now, right? Like before, I know that we know a lot about fractures and you know what I mean? Like things that have to do with knees and different things like that. Now you hear a lot about like these tissue injuries. What do you think about some of that, man? Just a quick sidebar. I just wanted to just ask that question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any inside information. I'm just, taking a shot as I guess anybody would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to something that I think the players had a gripe with a couple years ago. Remember when it was the whole NBA had to get involved, where it was like a lot of these big players were not playing in games, and they were like, guys, like, sorry, you cannot just take a day of rest when people are paying to come to the game. Like, you have to play X amount. So it's like they worked in the NBA, the cup that happened, this in-game tournament, in-season tournament for extra money. I think it's a lot of games, and I think it's if they need a rest, maybe you're gonna get something new that pops up on the injury report this season.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I guess some of them are legitimate injuries. I mean, they might all be legitimate injuries, but maybe it's if this is going to get me a day of rest on a back-to-back, that ankle is bothering me, or that, soft tissue, my back is a little twinged. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be. It's like, hey, we're just taking precaution on this, and it's our way to tell the NBA, like, we are giving this guy rest because of this injury that he's got going on, instead of like, oh, we're just resting him. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I know there was a whole thing about it a couple years ago where it was like, no, we can't have you guys all just taking days off. People are coming to the arena to see you play, and then it's like, well, I don't know. Maybe they're just trying some other ways to give him some time off. I don't know.
Understood. I had to ask because I have to 100% agree.
You know?
I think that this is what's going into what Giannis is doing as far as the trade, right? I think that what we're seeing in the games that was played with those guys this year, why I believe they're tanking is why I was asking that question too, is after seeing how those guys were playing in a couple of games without Giannis and how they were, even though they're 3-13 without him, just trying to see how they were trying to find their way in these different little pockets of play. And then him coming back and seeing how the team is still trying to play, but not seeing how committed Giannis is to it. And then the injury, and now him being on the block again. I think that for sure I would have to go with Milwaukee with how the data looks for me as who is in the tanking mode, regardless of if they trade Giannis.
Yeah, looking at where they 18 wins, and then now what the 12 wins is the lowest. So they're only 6 games off. So I mean, there's a lot of season left. So it's gonna be fun to see who races to the bottom of this. But I don't know. I kind of wish things were different in the whole tank for NFL and NBA. I know if you guys follow soccer, but the worst team doesn't get to play next season if you're bad enough.
Yes,
so
yes.
I don't know if you totally shut out a team like that with the NBA, because then it just really kills that fandom. But maybe it's something like you got to hit them in the pocket some way. Maybe it's like you don't get any nationally televised games for the next season, and like those big ads that you're missing out on. Like, sorry, you guys are not getting put on prime time next year, no matter what. Like, you got to find out a way to do something, because this just everybody just trying to play. It just makes for like boring basketball until you get closer to the playoffs, where it's like this is the time of year where it's like no one takes the All-Star game seriously. It's like that to me, it's like just have the fun stuff, like just have like.
I have somewhat of an interesting idea. I haven't thought it all the way through, but I've been thinking about it the last couple of days, preparing to bring the take to our show, Cam.
Okay.
But I feel like what they should do is they should almost increase. They should make it so that the lottery order is where those teams in the middle go first, rather than those teams that finished last. That would probably convince teams to compete more. And then on the other end, it would be really obvious if someone tries to tank their way to being in the middle of the pack somehow. It'll be very obvious if you see them, kind of giving up games at the end of the season to fall out of the playoffs. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's just how everything is set up. You wanna be last. Like, if you're not first, you want to be last, because if you're stuck in the middle, you can't do anything. So you see all these teams kind of, tear themselves apart. But then at the end of the day, if teams were forced to compete, you'd see a lot better basketball out of a team like the Washington Wizards and the Brooklyn Nets and stuff, because they got talent on their team. It's just they're purposely losing games. You can't say that for the Kings, though. I almost said the Kings, but they just stink. But teams like that, like when it comes down to the Kings, they should absolutely be penalized for putting this this BS team together. It gets me mad how badly they ruined, making the playoffs a couple years ago. But a team like the Kings, they shouldn't be able to get priority in the draft. I mean, maybe a team like the Pelicans, it would stink for, because they just got injuries. But the Pacers, like, they lost Tyrese Halliburton and they didn't make no moves in the offseason. So I don't think they should get rewarded for just throwing the year away because they lost Tyrese Halliburton, because they had every opportunity to make their team better and they didn't make no moves. So it's stuff like that. That would be my idea.
I like that. I mean, I don't know how the Pacers go from championship team to just like, we lost one guy. Like, what? Like, you guys are
they just threw it. They just whatever. Like, it's kind of like they organized their players together. They said, Tyrese is down. Forgive us. We're not making no moves, and we don't want you guys to win. Because, they're all on board with this. Siakam hasn't spoken up in the media about wanting to be on a better team or anything like that. Like, they're dead last. You would think, like, someone like Siakam would be like, get me out of here. I'm trying to win another championship before I go. But no, everyone's just happy to be losing there in Indiana.
Yeah, man, and that's the part about the buy-in to the organizations and things like that as well, right? That's the part about where you're a professional, but you're a part of an organization and you have nothing to do with the actual decisions that are made, right? It's kind of like what Paulie was saying a little bit about the last segment, a little bit about how guys hey man, I got to take one of these back-to-backs off and things like that, right? Think about that, right? Because at the end, it is it's a job for a lot of these guys, right? They're independent contractors and they're still trying to, shore up contracts and do specific things. But I think for Indiana specifically, it's egregious, man, for one dude to be lost. I know at the beginning of the season we had some injuries with Nembhard and a couple of guys, and now they're still trying to work their way back into who they were. But it does not make any sense, especially on the East, to see a drop off like this for who was literally, took the champions to the brink. It makes no sense at all. I don't know if a lot of players are in that middle ground to where they're okay with. I don't think anybody's okay with losing, but to make it that far one year and to be that bad the next, it tells something about the organization too.
And it's especially how the Pacers played in the playoffs, right? Like they like a lot of times Tyrese Halliburton had games that were non-factors to the whole thing. Like people were questioning, like, oh, did they really get here because of Tyrese? Did he force those moments? Blah 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 blah. And it's like you're telling me you couldn't apply that same mentality with the boatload of talent that you still have, because that's the thing that we applauded Indiana for, was their depth. We applauded them for their dog mentality. We applauded them for playing all the way to the end, whether they were winning or losing. They made sure they played to the end. All those amazing comebacks. It's just it's amazing to me that all of a sudden they're trying to convince us that they have no talent at all, and they're this really terrible team without Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, which I just don't believe that.
And listen, Miles Turner isn't doing too much in Milwaukee, so it can't.
He wasn't doing that much in Indiana either last year.
He's doing less, so it's funny, man. You know what I mean? That's so that team is horrible for me to actually kind of take in, because I actually had Nembhard as one of those most improved players. I think that he's still, he's game ready. He's big game ready. He's only going to play, when the best team is showing up or they have to play the best team. Other than that, man, they got a bunch of guys that like kind of punch the clock and go through the motions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I wanna start talking about some football. So you guys are the old heads. So before we talk about the Super Bowl, and I love how I just casually said that. But before we talk about the Super Bowl that we had that we're going into, I want to know your guys' top 5 Super Bowl runs in your lifetime. Now I know it's hard to come up with that on the fly, but I'm sure when I ask that question, a couple of them already popped into your head of what was, some of the greatest runs that you have ever witnessed in your lifetime. I want 5, just off the top of your head. I want to hear it.
Well, I mean, being from New York and being a Giants fan, I could tell you 2 right there, the ones when they won the Super Bowls. I mean, the whole undefeated Patriots season, I don't know, for me, that's number 1 on that list. I mean, going for a 19-0 Pats team, led by Tom Brady and Eli Manning, coming out with the first Super Bowl win. And then, what was it, 3 years later, they did it again. I mean, it's just like those runs on the teams that didn't have, 14-win seasons. I think they got in like one of those years. It was like a 9.
They were like 9-7, right?
Yeah, right. A 9-7 team making a run like that at the right time. I mean, those 2 for me, that's my 1 and 2. That's just personal, though.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to think
about
9-7,
10-6, and 9-7.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To win the Super Bowl with those records, and then like looking at the teams and being like, who are you scared of? And like really nobody. I mean, you're not scared of anybody offensively on either of those 2 teams.
And it's like, how do you motivate a team like that that's not really that good to just go and beat the undefeated Patriots? Or just go on the whole playoff runs in general. It's so insane.
And always being ready. It was like that was the one thing that I really loved about Eli Manning in a lot of those games. He was just ready at the right moment all the time, man. It
felt calculated. Like,
yeah, it was kind of crazy. Really cool. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. That's a good first 2 there.
Those are my 2. I can't remember any of them is sticking out. I mean, I know we got the Ravens. The Ravens beat the Giants some years back. That was the Kerry Collins.
That was like 2000, I believe. 2001.
Yep.
That Ravens team was pretty bad. I mean, they definitely had a nice run, I think, to make it there because they weren't. I don't think they were picked out to be in the Super Bowl. Before the season started. That was a pretty strong team. The John Elway Broncos had some nice runs. I remember Elway after all those years, seeing him in that blue and orange, and then seeing him in that white Broncos uniform. What is it? It felt like 40 years later, but it was, seeing him as an old guy getting that run was pretty, pretty nice to see. I like it when some guys are towards the tail end of their career and they get that one, they get that championship. Yeah. To me, they're more meaningful, I think, and makes their runs like more impressive because to me, it's like, well. They're dealing with very few, everything has to work before they punch out, and then it does. So it's nice to see, is it Kirk? Who we had there? Another NFL, Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner pulled that off.
Yes, we talk about that on our show a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Even though his comments on X lately have been a little. I kind of want him to just stop talking. He's kind of ruining it for a lot of people, man. He's kind of off his rocker these days.
Hey, look, I mean, they play the game. You know what I mean? It's like you're playing a gridiron battle. There's got to be something a little off with you when all of a sudden you're looking at guys getting carried off the field and being like, I want to get in on that. So
absolutely, man.
if they come out a little crazy years later, what do you want? I mean, this is it.
Yeah. There.
Crazy in, crazy out.
Yeah.
That's cool. So Ken, what do you got for a list?
So listen, man, that's kind of crazy. He took one of them. We got to go with the Giants without a question. He was playing there too. It's kind of that means we're hugging the same time, right? So the Ravens are a part of it, as we've talked about before. I love the Killer Ray, Ravens, right? But I'm not going to have them for this particular conversation. But we are going to go with the Giants runs, right? Every time that they won against Tom Brady, me being a Jets fan, they always had to go through the Jets no matter how good we were or how bad we were, right? So the next run that I got to go to is definitely not at all a New England pick, but it is that 2020 run for Tampa Bay with Tom. Right? That's a great run for just football, period. Kind of what he's talking about, that 40 years later, that white jersey, just seeing him in a whole nother jersey, you know what I mean? Like kind of that was amazing, bro. Without a doubt. We got to go back. We got to go back to older too. We got to go back to like the 85 Bears and stuff like that. Me as a kid watching football. And all I remember this big dude, Refrigerator Perry, right? The fridge. That's all that was all over the place when I was a kid. That run was amazing. And it was kind of crazy learning that Jim McMahon and learning that defense actually really won that Super Bowl, right? And not knowing too much but learning more about football after that. So that's one of those runs for me. I got to go with those Cowboys too, brother. That Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman. Come on.
Wish I was alive for it, man. The more I hear about it, the more I wish I was alive.
Oh my goodness.
Jerry Jones took that and threw it in the trash when he fired Jimmy Johnson, man.
There is a reason why that is America's team. You know what I mean? Just how they were captivating in those moments, kind of how New England did of their late time, right? Then I gotta move to the West Coast again too, man. And because I gotta keep it old school for you. With the last one, it gotta be those 49ers, man. Joe Montana, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, you know what I mean? All these guys. Listen, man, like
that Dwight Clark pass in the back of the end zone.
Bro, and talking about this stuff like before, I was telling Tom and them on our show a bit ago, talking about like pre-analytic. Like this dude was doing, there was no real 3 and outs and stuff like that a lot with Joe Montana. He was really surgical. You know what I mean? And we didn't keep a lot of data. Well, they didn't keep a lot of data back in those times about, a lot of stuff, man. So it was just crazy to see his precision and that kind of stuff. And throwing, running, catching. It was just complete. And then on the defensive side of things, seeing Ronnie Lott and those guys like flying across the field, that stuff was crazy for me. But those are mine.
Hell yeah. Well, before I give my list, I want to give a shout out because we got a bunch of people that jumped in on the comment section, just saying what's up, just coming in and joining the conversation. We love that. D Jack. I almost said DJ Ack. I'm sorry. I don't know why I went there. But D Jack, Rip City, Lee Tran, my guy Joseph, Kyle Hall, Mr. Vincent, the one and only Kirk still here with us. Sweetheart Pro Wrestling still here with us. And yeah, DJ Ack. I'm just gonna call him DJ Ack just because I don't know why that pops up in my head.
DJ.
Yes. Shout out to you guys for being with us an hour into the stream. So my top 5, I got to give you guys kind of the newer age because I wasn't alive for any of those things you guys mentioned.
Really.
So, besides the Kurt Warner one, but I was like 2, so I can't really count that one. Number 1. I gotta go. The Patriots coming back on the Falcons, man. Like, just see that whole thing was crazy because it's like, the Falcons destroy the Patriots in the first half, and the Super Bowl went from we're here to watch football to we're here to eat. You know what I mean? Like, I started, loading up on food. I thought, maybe I can get out of the function early. There ain't nothing going on. I'm just chilling, and then all of a sudden the Patriots start slowly coming back. And I'm sitting there like I'm sweating and rooting for the Patriots as if I'm a Patriots fan because I just wanted to see one of the best comebacks of all time. And they did it. And that was a stamp for Tom Brady in his career right then and there, as the GOAT, in my opinion. Obviously, the Buccaneers ring, you could say that. But I think it was that comeback because that was just insane. Which other ones would I have? I think, I was alive for the Giants one. I can go with that because when I was young, man, that first time when they stopped the undefeated season, and I went to school, it was one like that. That's the only thing people will talk about because I lived in New York at that time, and I still live in New York. But gotta go with that one. It was just insane, like the amount of people that were just talking about that, and everyone was besides me, but everyone was a Giants fan on that day. Shout out to Ayanna and Kyle Hall who came in. People still talking about Pogs. Well, you did something with that Pogs.
These things, if you were a kid in the 90s, I don't know what they came in like a fury, and then they went out like overnight almost. They were not popular after like a year and a half, and then people were just like, I don't know, that's enough of buying these things. It's just funny to see the phases of like collectibles about like what's in now. Like, look, these little boo-boos. You know what these things are? You heard of these dolls that people are clipping on their purses and things like that? I don't know. They're crazy. They're hot as heck. I mean, I'm at Comic-Con and the booths are packed and people are buying this stuff and they don't even know like which one is better. They're just buying them based on what they look like. I don't know. But they're going for like $75, $50 a pop just for some basic ones. And I'm like, okay. There's a little crazy looking thing. I don't know, but it's crazy. It's just, I mean, it's the craze of what's out there. And like I said, like we were talking about, Ken, we were like, you know what? Like we were talking about how collectibles are today. And it's like, today people could go out in their garage and be like, I'm going to go play Pokemon. I'm going to go play Magic the Gathering with my friends. And your wife or your significant other is not going to look crazy at you for being into collectibles. But back in the 80s, if you said, I'm going to the garage to go play games, they wouldn't believe you. They'd be like, who you got in that garage? I want to open up that door right now. Like, there ain't no way. Like, this is just like, it's funny how the time goes on. And then all of a sudden, collecting stuff is just a socially wide acceptable thing nowadays. It's like, what are you into? What are you into? It used to just be, I don't know, maybe it was like old TV guides, like, or newspaper clippings people used to collect, like stamps, coins, like that was about it. It's like how many, that's why you got people scouring the world now for like Mickey Mantle cards, because it's like, well, if you had it, you threw it out or you put it in your bicycle spokes. So now it's like, good luck trying to find one in good condition. It's just
exactly
that's it nowadays. Every kid's putting it in plastic now in their binders, bulletproof casing. So all these collectibles are going to be in perfect condition for years to come. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the value of them. Just collect what you like. You can't go wrong if you just buy what you like, because then it's just like, listen, Kem's buying his old Lakers stuff over there. He's all right. You don't care no matter what the Lakers do. It's your team.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about baseball cards. It's like, no matter what, whether I get, the big pull or I get a big auto or anything like that, I love baseball and I love baseball cards. So it is what it is. It's cool. Like, I have this, this box of like cards that have no value. I like just looking through them and be like, oh yeah, I remember that random bench player in 2007 that I did a lot of research on for
Rico
no reason.
Bronya. What do you got with him?
Yeah, like Jared Saltamalakia. I love that guy.
Yeah. Benny Agbayani, the flying Hawaiian. He was he was a big guy in New York at the time. There's some crazy players that stick in your mind over the years, and it's like, you know what? It's funny because those guys like made the team that year, though. It's like you watched because of guys like that, and then it's like almost like people 10 years later forget about those like oddball players that really like glued you in. They were just those like characters on the team that somehow like you need somebody. I think every like good championship team like that has a good run for a couple years has that guy that loosens up everybody. You know what I mean? It's like think of all like the good teams. There's like that, your Dennis Rodman on. You know what I mean? Like you got that guy that just brings so much energy.
And you need that.
Yeah, you need that on the team.
That was literally the difference maker for the Washington Nationals when they won the World Series in 2019. Like we traded for Gerardo Parra, and he started he made his walk-up song Baby Shark, and then everyone in the stadium started doing Baby Shark, and that was the theme for and then they started dancing in the clubhouse after they hit home runs. It was absolutely comical, but like it won. It was really probably the reason the Nationals won a World Series to begin with, because they were very miserable, and then he comes in and everyone just started saying it was a party.
And that's what I think the Dodgers are going on, just this epic run. And not only because they're buying up everybody, but because the team's loose. You know what I mean? You got Mookie Betts doing some stuff out there on the bases. It just like kind of relaxes everybody, because when you're tense up there swinging a bat trying to hit a ball like this size, I mean your nerves are tight. That thing ain't going anywhere. You're driving it into the dirt, you're hitting a foul ball like when you don't care and you're up there, it's it. Like that's when you're at when you could just not worry, you're just at your best. And it's just those special players. I don't know if people have an eye for that, like those good GMs that have an eye for guys like that are going to help the teams. That's what sets them apart, I think, because it's like you got to stop looking in the books and just watching some videotape, and you kind of see those little things that make that team, competitive and special.
Yeah, man. And my only other, I'll give you two more. Actually, I'll just give you one more game. I'll give you one more. Instead of a top five, I'll just give you one more. Listen, when Nick Foles won that, they need to make a movie about it. Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles winning the Super Bowl. Listen, Cam, when you lose your MVP and Carson Wentz, that should just destroy a team right there. But when you got Big Dick Nick Foles just walking on the field and doing whatever the heck he wanted to, it was awesome. It was and then to beat the Patriots, it's awesome. I love that one. I mean, like the whole thing, like the Philly play. Doug Peterson didn't belong in the league, as everybody said. Alshon Jeffrey is your wide receiver one. Nick Foles is doing some crazy, incredible things. It was, and then Jason Kelsey just yelling at everybody, yelling on the podium after they won. It was great. I gotta go with that. How do we want to close this, guys? We got a little bit more time, maybe one more segment. How
sing?
Do we want to
sing? You want to sing? Come on. 3-part harmony? Here we go.
Old quartet. Well,
there we go.
Yes. Well, actually, why don't we talk about the Super Bowl? I mean, that's the kind of the current topic. Why don't we close with that?
Okay.
Who do you guys have? How do you guys feel about who we got? What about all this discourse about Drake May? What is up? What are you guys' thoughts on the Super Bowl and who's winning it?
Man. All right, well, let's go, man. I'll go right into it, man. I told you a little bit ago, man, I think that the miracle stops here. It's kind of crazy that we were just talking about top 5 Super Bowl runs of our lifetime and kind of New England being a part of it. I'm not going to lie, with the story that is New England and the beautiful story that is New England this year. All of those things that came together, along with Drake May delivering when needed to be delivered, right? He had a couple of flub-ups, as anybody would have in that weather game that they had, okay? But I also believe that the totality which is the Seattle Seahawks, my guy is going to probably rip that apart a bit, right? Of course not, right? Not as easily as I'm saying it, but I believe that totally just a complimentary football that is going to be played on Sunday night. It's Sam Darnold's time, right? We were having a conversation about him already being here. He's going back to the place where he actually won a Super Bowl as a participant of a team in Santa Clara for San Francisco. But now all of these things that he was written off, he wasn't even supposed to make it. Then he got to Minnesota, almost got them to where they needed to be, then get shipped to Seattle with a coach who has been building in the background while all of this has been going on, okay? With a OC, all right? Mr. Kubiak, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Rashid Shaheed, and what they got on defense, I just trust that a little bit more right now. It's not like I do not believe in Boutte, Diggs, Ramondre, and what they got in that collection of defense in New England. I'm just flying with the Nets right now, man. I'm flying with the Nets. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I got on that.
I'm going with the Seahawks. I'm going with the Seahawks on this myself. I haven't seen a defense like that the last 2 games that they played in all season from any team. I saw them just relentless and not giving their opponents, a chance to get that footing. Because that's why, to me, football, when it comes down to these like tense games, I think a good defensive team will most likely take a championship. I know the Patriots obviously have a good defense, but I just saw the Seahawks dialing it up, and they just looked like they were out for blood. And I said, when I see a defense like that, that's just clicking on all cylinders, pending injuries, and all works out that way, I think I'm going with the Seahawks. I think they really just had that strong way to just attack the quarterback. And obviously there's not as much experience with Drake May back there as some, vet or some guy that's, been hitting the pavement for years back there. So, I don't know, a young quarterback and a tuned up defense is I'm going with Seattle.
Yeah, and I think we agree across the board. I mean, look, I'll say one thing. I don't think the Patriots are quite. Well, I don't even want to say that they're not prepared, but it kind of feels that way, right? Because they haven't not truly been. They've been tested with some good defenses, but they really truly haven't been tested, against a crazy offense like the one Seattle possesses. And it's funny, the Seahawks, they put together this really random team of players in the offseason, and of course getting Shaheed, trading for him. And I didn't see this coming, man. I mean, at the beginning of the season, or in the offseason when they got Sam Darnold, I was like, all right, man, they might be a cool team. We'll see what happens. And then they go on this crazy, crazy run. I mean, they, randomly have Cooper Kupp, Cooper Kupp's in there giving them, some value. Well, no, everyone said he was washed and done, but he lives for these moments right here. And I wouldn't be shocked if he catches a touchdown during the Super Bowl. It's like you guys said, that defense is crazy. I mean, there's going into the season, they didn't really have, a standout guy on that defense. I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence is, obviously out of his prime, but he can still contribute. But they didn't really have that standout guy. It's just a really well-oiled defense. And I'll say this to anyone hating Drake May, I think you guys got to get your heads out of your butts. I don't think it's fair to the kid. He was an MVP candidate for a reason. In a year that was all over the place, he was certain, he was consistent, and in the playoffs, he is doing exactly what needed to be done to get to this point. That snow game sucked, obviously, but he made. Me and Ken were talking about on the phone last night. He made the play to seal the game. He made that run, and he made other runs during the game that kind of sealed it for him. So, for anyone hating on the guy who is the second youngest quarterback ever in the Super Bowl, give it up, because if he is to make more Super Bowls, he's already on a really good trajectory. It's just he's young and this is new. I mean, come on, anyone that goes from just being the regular Joe to now all of a sudden you're taking on this big responsibility. All of us as humans in life, don't look good in those moments. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's good to see that he's even here. He's handling everything properly. He's a little banged up. if the Patriots win, it'll be a great story. Mike Vrabel, Drake May, all that. So, Stephon Diggs for whatever that's worth. We'll see what happens. But I got the Seahawks, man.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold getting a ring is crazy. It's a crazy idea. The script writers were doing some crazy things, before the season started. But
I mean, he was highly touted, man. He came to my guys, man. The worst thing that happened to Sam Darnold was he was drafted to the Jets, right? Other than that, you know what I mean?
And everybody else.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the worst thing that happened to him, man. You get to see, you know what I mean? There hasn't been too many high draft picks for the Jets that haven't gone on to do better somewhere else. There hasn't been too many. There have been a few flounders, right? But the majority of those who were literally highly touted, who were supposed to be somebody, got their second act going somewhere else, right? So our scouting department is official. It's just at the end of the day, the total brass, man, there needs to be some shaking up going there, man. But that, again, man, shout out to Sam Darnold. I think that without a question, man.
Yes.
He went through everything that he needed to go through to get to this moment, but this is not a slight at all at Drake May being as young as he is, steadying that ship the way that he did. There is more to come, without a doubt. There's more to come.
Yeah.
As long as he stays healthy, we know it's a shoulder thing right now, but he made it. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that they're not gonna. I just like Seattle.
And my last take before we get to some final words is that Sam Darnold hilariously gets to rewrite the past when he saw ghosts against the Patriots. When he sat there and said, "I'm seeing ghosts," and it was one of the worst things you could ever say in that moment. It got memes. He got destroyed for it, and he finally gets to kind of make up for that. Hopefully he doesn't see ghosts in the Super Bowl. But does anybody have any final takes before we kind of give our final plugs and get on out of here?
I did want to just ask one thing. Talking about all this, what do you guys think of, like, from the years past in the NFL until like recently, where I feel like there's more and more young, like we were talking about, like drafted quarterbacks, right? That come from first round picks that kind of squander and then go to another team. This year, these last couple of years alone, you got Baker Mayfield, now Sam Darnold. You had Daniel Jones showing that. Like, do you remember this happening years ago? Like, I don't remember. So what is this? Like, what's not? So how are they drafting good, talented guys that then go, like, don't work in one system? But then, like, years ago, if you were drafted high, like, that's it. Your talents kind of show right away. Like, I mean, I don't remember any guy back in the day being like, the team gave up on him. And all of a sudden, like, unless he was a dude that was, like, never got to take the field and he was like a backup quarterback. And then, obviously he got his chance somewhere else, then fine. But you got the starting job, rookie, go ahead. And then all of a sudden, we don't know what to do with you. We get rid of you, and now you're booming somewhere else. Like, I don't know what that is, but to me, it's like something is up when that never happened in the past, 50 years. And then now in the last 5, you'd say, like, it's happening more and more often.
Yeah. Hey, man, I don't mind tackling this one at all. I think that a lot of it has to do with system play, right? I think a lot of these guys are more designed for systems. And a lot of coaches and OCs have systems in which they run, or they like to run as it pertains to what they're the product that they're putting out on the field. And I think that not everybody can fit now. And we also know with football, a lot of cadences, a lot of code switching as far as, play. But even if you're running the same thing, a lot of people have to catch up when it comes to football, have to catch up with a lot of what has to said and what has to be ran. And a lot of people get lost in some of that stuff, right? I'm not a pro athlete, just in what I know about when it comes to that kind of thing. But in what you're saying, it is a very obvious thing that some of these guys, there's a correlation too, Paulie, if you follow me for a quick minute. Some of these guys are a bit younger than some of the older quarterbacks from when we're talking about before. A lot of these guys are coming in a little bit not ready yet, but they are ready for the system in which they were playing in at a collegiate level. But then when they look really, really good on those collegiate forums. But then when they get with or we're going to say the upper echelon of athlete, you know what I mean? Those things have to be changed, right? And when you have to be put into a system, a lot of guys don't fit right into that system right away because they were always that guy. We got a couple of great quarterbacks that have come out. And the reason why these guys are great in the latter is because they put in more time and actually went to other schools. We got guys coming out a bit older in the quarterback room now, too, to kind of stabilize that, I believe. Because, Paulie, you were on point. I think that is something that was probably trending for a while that I think is going to stop. Once we've had this little pandemic thing where people were able to re-up and get a couple of extra years at school, now a lot of these guys are coming out a little bit smarter, and we probably won't have that happening like we did the past couple of years, like with the Malik Willises and a couple of these other guys who were really highly talented in college, but once they got there, and I think that he's going to get a second shot, you know what I mean, somewhere else. But like
he's been so efficient as a
without a doubt. He's probably going to back up JJ McCarthy.
Him and Mac Jones, I think, deserve to be starters.
There we go. You took the other guy out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, these guys were literally game ready. You also see it with like a guy like Bryce, right? You see that he's actually coming into his own a little bit more now that he understands what is demanded of him in the NFL versus what was demanded of him in college, with not having the sum of all parts, you know. But yeah, man, I think that again, just to say it a little bit plainer, is some of these guys are staying a little bit longer, you know what I mean, with some of the pandemic stuff, to be able, hey man, shut down in New Orleans, what is he, like 25 or something like that, 26? You know what I mean? As a rookie, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's kind of, I think that we're probably getting out of that, but there was a time where that was really, really prevalent. And I'm hoping, man, because I didn't like that as well with a lot of these guys. We're drafting these guys, but then we even had it with like the Josh Allens and the Lamar Jacksons. Like, hey, man, are these guys actually quarterbacks? And, you know, a lot of that kind of talk, you know what I mean? Because of how the system was and if it was going to translate in the NFL. But I think a little more time now, we shouldn't be seeing that anymore. I hope, man. I really hope. That was a hard time. That was a hard time.
I kind of see, I'm afraid like it's going to happen with like you CJ Stroud and, Jaden Daniels, because it's like you see the second year was not like the first, and then you're like, I don't know. But I have a feeling they trade these guys somewhere else. Now all of a sudden they're going to be, lights out. They're on the ball again. It's like, guys, like, I don't know. They're missing the mark. You got lightning in a bottle, and you're just like, I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know.
I'll say this, man. I think it all boils down to one thing, and I don't think it has to do with the players' talent anymore, because they're all talented. It has to do what franchise they are put into. Ken, you alluded to the Sam Darnold thing, which, Paulie, great question following up Ken's Sam Darnold analogy. But I mean, you kind of think about the top quarterbacks in this game, right? Patrick Mahomes. He was benched his first year. He got this beautiful, glorious opportunity to just sit back and watch Alex Smith do everything wrong and then come in and do everything right with an already established team. Jalen Hurts, right, on the Eagles. He got to fumble and make mistakes and be a backup, and then all of a sudden he gets put into this glorious situation. Caleb Williams, he comes into the league and the team is already a little bit stacked. Then they get him the coach that fits his desires. He's gone. CJ Stroud, he comes into the league in a beautiful situation where everyone is new, everyone is hungry, everyone was dogs. But you see what happens? That organization is not properly run. They have not been properly run in years. They just lucked into CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans. But if you look in the past and how many times that the Houston Texans have failed up to this point, because their ownership stinks, because their front office stinks, they didn't surround their generational quarterback with an O-line, and now he probably has CTE if you hear some of the stuff CJ Stroud said throughout the year and his three week-long concussion. But like Bryce Young, he comes in, he's put in a terrible situation. He was almost ran out the league. Everyone was calling for him to be out of there. Cam Ward, he didn't thrive this year because the Titans organization is a mess. Sam Darnold, Joe Burrow, yes, did he have success? That was off a natural talent. He has declined every year since he had that outbreak and made the Super Bowl, because the Bengals are just a poorly run organization. It's just all there is to that. And then Kyler Murray, again, the Cardinals are just a poorly run organization. They saw they had talent. They didn't put the right stuff around them, and that was done. The Browns, they have had a generational guy on defense, and somehow they have not been able to put an offense together, no matter what combo. They've had how many quarterbacks in the last 20 years? More than 20, which is impressive. They've had more quarterbacks than the amount of years. But they've had Myles Garrett, who for some reason, I don't know what drugs he does to want to stay in Cleveland, but that's a thing. And again, you could keep going down the list. Trevor Lawrence goes to an extremely healthy Jaguars. As bad as Trevor Lawrence is, he looks great. He's a top 5 MVP candidate somehow this year. Jared Goff, he was the number 1 pick. He wasn't necessarily the best, but he went to a healthy Rams organization who got him off the ground. Jameis Winston could have probably went anywhere besides the Buccaneers, and he would have thrived. The list goes on and on and on. It doesn't matter about their talent anymore. It just matters what situation they're coming into. Sorry to talk you guys' ear off. I'm just passionate about
great.
it.
Yes, nice.
I could go for hours. That is all fun stuff. You watch the game, but you wanna analyze it. So that's what that's what we're here for. You wanna,
man.
That is what we do. So listen, if you guys love this, make sure you guys join the Collectin and Connectin Discord. Make sure you guys subscribe. Paulie is on this massive run. He's locked in. We want you guys locked in with us because it's a really great program that he is running right now.
Yes,
and if you did like us talking your ear off for the last hour and a half, make sure you come subscribe to a different conversation. We're going to be releasing episodes every Thursday and every Sunday moving forward. We have a lot in store for you guys if you guys like this. We're even going to have Paulie on an episode here soon. So make sure you guys like both Collectin and Connectin and A Different Conversation. Subscribe because the content never ends when it comes to these two beasts of programs that are put together. Paulie, do you have any final words? Anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, just keep staying tuned and definitely follow you guys as well on social and on YouTube. A Different Conversation. Love just getting everybody together. We're all just, putting one team here and just trying to keep everybody entertained. And every week put up some fun live streams with a bunch of talented and great podcast content creators out there. So just love having you guys a part of this and just keep looking to grow together. So keep rocking, and we'll keep pushing as hard as we can here, having some fun. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. We are out.